Hello guys, how are you? Today we're gonna service a Lochinvar boiler. This boiler is 4 to 5 years old and it hasn't been serviced. So I'm gonna show you how to take it apart step by step to clean the heat exchanger and the burner. This one is 400,000 BTUs and it is 96% efficient. Very nice unit. So don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. There is a switch in the back of on the boiler, so you're gonna turn it off. Don't forget to turn the gas off. And now the cover, this cover, we're gonna lift it up. And then with this device, you're gonna hold it up. Now, if you see, this wire is the wire for the computer. So we're gonna remove it from here. And then there's a clip that holds this wire. And then the whole finger is gonna slide it inside so it's out of our way. There's some hinges here. By moving these, the whole top is gonna come off. Okay, so now I have the cover off, and you're gonna put it aside. And then this front panel, you're gonna pull towards you, and then you're gonna lift up and away, and then put aside. And now you see these two connectors, one here and this one. We're gonna remove it from the blower fan. Come on. Now we're gonna disconnect the flame rod, the igniter, and all the grounds. And we're gonna put it aside. Now let's remove the insulation blanket. You have to lift it up and then just pull away. Pull towards you. Be careful not to break it though. And now remove the hose from the gas valve. Now the gas valve has this harness on top, so we are gonna remove the two screws that are on the top. So once you remove the two screws, lift up on the harness and set aside. Now the gas valve, we're going to remove the gas valve, and there are two short screws right here and two long screws. I'm going to use a 4mm Allen wrench. I don't have the American standard, so make sure it fits right so you don't strip the screw. So for me, a 4mm is working okay. Now there is a clamp that is holding the fan and the venturi, so we're going to use a 5/16 nut driver, then loosen up the clamp. And now we're going to remove the 4 Allen screws that are holding the fan assembly to the vessel. For the screws in the back, you might need an extension to access it from the top, so it's easier. Now, since we removed the gas valve from this manifold and we removed it from the venturi and the screws, now we're going to grab the gas valve and the fan assembly I'm gonna lift it up and bring it out. There are 5 bolts on the top. So we're gonna remove those 5 bolts using a 9/16 wrench. Now we're going to remove the fan plate. If you have not removed it before, this gasket seals right here, I don't know if you see them, you have to be careful, and if it's the first time you're going to remove them, they're going to be stuck and you might damage them. So you have to be ready and buy the kit so you can replace them. So you're going to lift the fan plate, and it's not gonna be easy. You have to pull and pry very careful with a flat surface, like a very flat small screwdriver, so you don't damage the metal on the plate or on the vessel, or so you don't damage the gaskets. So you're gonna start prying up. Just be careful right here. So if you see the gasket, it's right under, and then there's my burner, and then there's another gasket underneath. So you're gonna go around and loosen up all the way around so you don't break it. So just go all the way around. Once you get it loose, you can lift from the center and then just jiggle and try to lift it up. And this is your plate, and you're gonna set it aside. Now these are the gaskets I told you about. You have to be careful you don't break them. So you have to loosen it up. This is your burner. Right here, this is your burner. So we're gonna jiggle it and try to loosen it up all the way around. You might need a flat bar, small flat bar on this side, just to put it in here so you can lift it up. But you can use both hands, one here and one there, and just kind of jiggle it out and lift. You have to move this to the side. You can't even remove this, so it's out of your way. And then you just remove the burner. Very careful, straight up, because it's delicate. So this is your burner, and then just put it to the side. And that's your heat exchanger. And you see those brown pebble things? That's part of the process. That's the combustion residues that fall there and clogs the line and everything, so that should be clean. So first we're gonna vacuum it dry, and then now if you see there, that's the heat exchanger that needs to be clean. And it has been 5 years and it hasn't been serviced once, so it should be done every year, or at least every 2 years. So now we're gonna suck any debris before we start cleaning it, before we put out any cleaning solution. To clean the heat exchanger, I'm gonna use CLR, calcium lime and rust remover. I'm using a 5:1 ratio. I'm not sure what's the ratio we should use, but that's what I'm using today. You can look at the boiler specifications for better instructions, but I'm using 5:1, and that works for me. And I'm gonna use a bristle brush. It's a little bit hard, so it kind of digs and clean, but at the same time it's soft for the heat exchanger. And for this, you're gonna wear eye protection and gloves. And now you're gonna dip the brush into the solution, and then you're gonna bring it inside. and then you're going to scrub. You can spray it too with a sprayer. So whatever works for you. And you're just gonna scrub towards the directions of the fins. Now if you noticed, it looks very nice. So now we're gonna rinse it out. So I'm gonna use the water from my water heater here. I'm gonna connect the hose, and then I'm just gonna rinse it out with this hose. So let's do that. And now all the junk is gonna go out. Through the drain. Look at that. All that junk is from the drain. It's all nasty. Look at that, it's still dark, but there's no more minerals, no more pebbles. As you can be done now, I'm gonna give it another brushing with TRL and then another rinse. So before you start cleaning with the CRL solution, just let me be clear, and you have to make sure that you don't get water to any of these components, because then you'll damage it. So no water allowed outside. You could use a sprayer tank. You could use a hose as I did, but no water outside the vessel. So now I'm gonna clean the burner. You have to be careful. I'm using a very soft brush. This is not going to damage my burner, but it's going to clean it. So just clean it like that, and then you can blow compressed air. Even though it seems like it's not dirty, it has small particles, small dust particles that sometimes clogs the burner, and then it doesn't allow the gas to go out of it. So when it's starting up, it might do small explosions like backfire, because the gas didn't pass through very easy. By cleaning it like this, we are going to avoid the backfiring too, hopefully. And now that we clean and service the heat exchanger and the burner, we are going to put everything back. Before you do anything, you have to make sure all the gaskets are in good shape. These are in good shape, they are not broken. So we are going to put back, so this is one gasket, and there's another gasket here on the burner. So you have to be careful and not damage that either. So now we're going to put it back as we took it, the same way. You have to line up the 5 holes and push on the gasket so it doesn't break. And now we're going to do our metal cover back, align the 5 screws, the 5 bolts, and just make sure that these letters, there's some writing here, it has to be facing you. So let's put it like that. And then we're gonna put our 5 nuts on the 5 bolts. We're gonna put back a rubber piece on our venturi and in between the fan assembly. And now we're gonna do our 4 Allen screws and our 4 gas valve screws. Then we're gonna connect this hose from the venturi to the gas valve. Tightening this screw from the venturi to the fan. Install the 2 screws in the gas valve harness. Connect the 2 Molex plugs to the fan assembly, to the fan motor. Now I'm going to replace the spark igniter. This is the old one. And the flame rectifier, the flame sensor. They are still good. They're still working. They served for 5 years and they did great. What's inside, you took it apart, and this is just me. You don't have to do it. I'm putting new sensor and new spark igniter just because this gives me a sense of security, and maybe I don't have to do it for another 5 years. So it's up to you. If you're not gonna put a new sensor, all you have to do is clean your spark igniter with a green Scotch brush pad, and then you're gonna just clean it like this. You know, make sure you clean it very well, and then you can put it back. And do the same with the flame sensor, and then you should be good. But me, I'm replacing it. Now we're gonna put back the insulation blanket. Now we're gonna connect back the flame sensor, spark igniter wire back to where it was. Make sure it's all the way down. Press hard, and then we're going to do all the ground wires. Now we have to clean the condensing line, and the condensing box is that box. You just remove those screws and then flush the hose. But since we already put a lot of water in the vessel, once we cleaned it, it pushed everything that it was in the line, so we're gonna call it clean condensing line. Now we're gonna install our cover back. Now we have to install the cover back. Hook your harness here, your harness wire here. And then up here, you're gonna connect it, and there's 2 ears that you're gonna open, and then you're gonna close. And then close. So before we put back the cover down, we're gonna turn the gas on. Don't turn the electric on yet. So now, precautionary step, we're gonna test for gas leaks at the gas valve. Remember, we took it apart. If the gasket fell and we didn't notice it, there will be a gas leak here, but it's fine. And when we call for heat, this valve opens and then that lets the gas pass through here. So this should be fine. I'm just concerned about this side of the gas valve. So there's nothing, so it's good. And now we're putting the cover back and make sure everything fits right. And then we're gonna turn the switch on. So that's it for today. Now we have to turn it on, we have to call for heat and make sure everything is okay with the controls. If there is a fault, the computer is gonna tell us. So thanks for watching, see you next video, have a great weekend. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. When you hit that button, this video goes to more people to benefit from it. Thank you very much.